This video starts at a card show and ends with an absolute grail.
Okay, I'm just slightly shaking.
So I'm starting today off going to the Sports Card Social. This one is at Stadium MK, home of Milton Keynes Dons, otherwise known as football's Heart of Darkness. I had three main aims for the day. The first big aim I have is to make some cheap pickups. I do want to have fun at the show, but I'm also preparing for a big product release the week after the show. So the things I want to pick up, I want to pick up one Dean Henderson card, I want to pick up one other Grimsby related card, any one New York Rangers card, and I want to pick up a mag case for one of my PC cards I got online. Very manageable goals. Also in prep for the big product release, I want to sell the biggest card that I currently own. And number 3, I want to keep the evil franchise spirits at bay. And that one we can actually do with preparation. One way you can keep them at bay is with proper club attire. I decided to go with a Grimsby Town football shirt, a Grimsby Town hoodie on top, another Grimsby Town shirt on top of that, another Grimsby Town hoodie on top of that, a Grimsby Town gilet, a Grimsby Town scarf, and some Grimsby Town socks just for good measure. The other measure I took to keep the spirits at bay was a quick spritz of holy water before I entered the stadium. And with that, I think we can call that one done. I didn't actually film tons at the show because, as you can see from this footage, it was busier than it usually is on match days. By the way, no offense intended to any Milton Keynes fans in this video. I've actually met them both and they're really lovely, so I don't have anything against them. But your club sucks. What I'll say on the show is it was quite busy, but it was the right amount of busy. And that makes a huge difference. A show where it's crazy rammed is really not very pleasant to maneuver around. A show where it's proper dead is just a bit awkward. Here I was able to look through all of the flick-throughs I wanted to look through, have good conversations with several of the vendors, several of the people there, and because I wasn't trying to pick up too many things, I wasn't super rushed. So that meant the show really for me was really fun and really good success. This part that I'm showing you now is the main room that sort of looks out onto the car park, and then the other side of the venue is this, where you can see out onto the pitch. It really is quite a nice looking football stadium, and that's how they trick you. Onto a couple of pickups then. On this stall here I found this Dean Henderson card first and foremost. Now I felt like he was a little bit high on the price for this, but he's not too far off, and honestly I think this set's a little bit overvalued, so I passed on this one. And then I found this Score Dean Henderson card, and I actually felt like he was significantly overpriced on this one. He had this marked at £12, and out of 60, and after showing him some absolute horror comps on similar cards from the set, we were able to strike up a deal. And actually from this stall, I was able to tick off Dean Henderson card, Grimsby card, and New York Rangers card. Then I moved on to picking up a mag for this beautiful card. This is actually a Nigel Dawes card. He's my main hockey PC. The card's made by Serial, and once I'd measured up using the third down card thing, I made my pickup. And then it was on to selling my card. Now the card I brought was this, which I was unbelievably fortunate to hit in a free break. That's an Ardagule 101 from Logo Fractor. I shopped this around a bit and didn't get exactly what I was hoping for, but considering where I got it from, I was very happy with the sale. So just to walk through the pickups, from that first stall I picked up this Dean Henderson at a 60 card, marked as 12 but did not pay that in the end. Also picked up these old school Grimsby cards, actual Grimsby cards. I think that's the first I've ever bought at a show. So I've got a couple of these from the Churchman's series from the 1930s, I believe. And then a couple of these Sun soccer cards from the 70s, I think. Really happy to get those. And then I was able to pick up some New York Rangers cards. So And one of my other main PC guys is Chris Kreider, so I was able to get a couple of his cards. These are just base, but I can't be fussy at shows when it comes to hockey cards. I take what I can get. I only would have picked up the 2 Kreider cards, really. He offered me the rest for a pretty good price. So all that stuff there, you can see that was a £10 deal. So I was pretty happy with that. I'm going to do the satisfying bit here and put this beautiful card into the mag case, the best way you can display a card, in my opinion. And then what I've started actually doing is cutting off the hanger thing and then putting the card and the mag back into the sleeve thing. I found it doesn't really impact how it sits on a stand that way, and you can't really tell too much, but it does protect the mag from getting any scratches or anything, so that's what I like to do. My last pickup was this Dean Henderson card from Revolution. Picked this up from Liam from Sports Cards Gymru. Good guy, very, very fair pricing. I think I paid a £5 for this. But you can see it's the cosmic variant there with like planets and stars in the background. It's really nice actually. Numbered to 25. And overall I only spent £18 and I went out with the profit from selling the Arda Güler card. So I walked away pretty confident I had the money I needed for the new release. So on the Tuesday after the show, Panini EFL Eternity went up for purchase. And this is the first hobby set that Grimsby have had cards in. We had 2 players on the set, Evan Corey on the debut insert and Jaze Kabia on the auto. I thought that Tuesday was like the pre-sale and it'll be a couple of weeks before they shipped. But literally the next morning, I started seeing people break the product. And very quickly, I found myself obsessively watching breaks of this. I think every YouTube video of a break I've seen, I've watched tons of cases of this being broken online as well. Now I had this image in my head of how this release would go for me. I honestly thought I had enough money off the back of that 1-of-1 sale to enter a couple of breaks and then sweep up most of the singles I wanted. A few things became quickly apparent. First, some of the singles from this product were going for silly money. Second, there were a number of people actively chasing the Grimsby cards. Now, I obviously can't afford to enter every break, nor would I really want to. It wouldn't be a very efficient way of getting the cards I wanted, but I quickly realised that if a Grimsby fan hit the big cards in this set, my chances of getting them were basically over because they would not sell them. But I also realised, based on the prices, that if someone else hit them and put them up on eBay, a Grimsby fan was likely to pay the price, regardless of what it was, and I couldn't afford to do that either. So over the next few days, I entered a few breaks, and it felt like I was actively dodging hits. I'd buy into a break, get nothing, and then someone would outbid me by £1 on the next break and would get a numbered auto. At one point I entered half a case, got nothing, and then someone else got the spot in the other half of the case and got the out of 5 Corey. Again, you might be thinking, if you're not following the prices of these cards that much, an out of 5 of a League 2 player, how much can that really be? 2 of them have sold so far and they both went over £200. And then the 1-of-1 Corey got listed on eBay. Very quickly, someone just paid the buy it now price, over £300. Honestly, I was finding the whole thing quite stressful. The whole image of what it was going to be was just shattered around me. And after a few days, I was finding myself trying to just let go of this primal need for all the Grimsby cards and just stop entering breaks. Fast forward to Saturday, I was in the passenger seat of the car. We're heading to one of those lovely British Georgian towns, type where you'd expect to find an anthropology, a Gales, a Waitrose and a rowing club. You know, ones where it's really beautiful and well built up and very populous, but for some reason when it comes to phone signal, it may as well be a black hole. On the drive, I got my phone out to see if anyone was breaking Eternity, because I was obsessively watching breaks. And at this point, I'm really kind of just hoping that I see someone else pull the 1-of-1 Kabia, really just to put me out of my misery. Well, I went online and I saw that Woody 1989 was doing a double case break, and I opened it and saw that Grimsby spot was still available. The price wasn't too bad at all, but at that point I'd kind of decided I wanted to enter one more break, and I'd set my price limit, and the price he had for the double case was a bit more than I was wanting to go to. Then, as we arrived where we were heading, he ran this spot at a very, very reasonable price, a significant cut on the original price, and I just hit bid. It actually didn't even go through the first time because the signal was already getting pretty bad. He reran it for me. Fortunately, no one else took it, and I was able to grab it. Now, at this point again, I had two visions for how this might go. I've not entered a ton of breaks, but I've entered enough to know that the most likely option here was that I was going to hit nothing, and I also knew that if I hit any numbered card or auto, that would be, above average, and I'd be pretty happy with that. And I was calling this my last hurrah in this product. The second scenario, which I didn't really want to entertain, but I also couldn't really shake from my brain, was that we'd wander off into this old town and out of phone signal into the black hole, have a lovely couple of hours walking along the river, getting lunch, and then when I stumbled into the 1 meter square in town that the phone signal exists, my phone would buzz with notifications of people calling me back into the stream that I'd hit a 1-1. I was checking my phone intermittently throughout our time in that town and just nothing was getting through. And then... no way. The notification came on my phone and I immediately felt short of breath. My heart started pumping and I honestly thought I might break down in tears on this high street. I joined the stream and immediately said, "Is this true? Has this actually just happened?"
You did, mate. Would you like to have a look? Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Jaze Kabia, 1 of 1 auto.
Absolutely crazy. Let's just replay the moment where it was actually hit.
Auto. That's nice. There we go. 1 of 1. 1 of 1 for Grimsby. 1 of 1 auto for Grimsby. Grimsby Town. Jaze Kabia.
What followed was a very nervy few days, not least because of my lack of trust for the Royal Mail. Take a look at this, a picture I took of a box of coffee that arrived at my house. The box smashed to pieces, some of the coffee just missing, wrapped the whole thing up in a bag. If that's happening to my coffee, I am slightly concerned about what might happen to these cards. But the package from Woody did arrive a few days later, so I'm just going to take you to my mail day.
I'm just slightly shaking. So package. I mean, he's written congrats 1 of 1 on the front.
I actually can't believe I have these cards in my possession. This is the first ever 1 of 1 Grimsby auto. And that it's an excellent player having a really good season obviously adds to that for me. This is a genuine Grail card for me, and barring total financial collapse, I'll never sell it. Because there's literally no other card in the world that I'd rather own than this. If I hadn't hit that 1 of 1 and the out 10 Curry, I honestly don't think there's any world where I can justify buying either of them. I genuinely doubt that I ever have a better mail day than this in the hobby. It is honestly all downhill from here. I've peaked with this product. Thank you so much to Woody1989 for the break. Again, I would never have a better break than that. So I think genuinely I'm done with breaking forever. Like, that was the pinnacle of what the breaking experience could ever be for me. That feeling of hitting that card and having like close to an emotional breakdown in public. That's it. So I think I'm done. I'm retiring as champ. I'd still like to complete this rainbow and really get as close as possible with the Corey. I think that might prove costly, but we'll see. You know, like, there have never been a set of cards that I wanted more than these. I'm also not really into in-person autographs, but I would consider trying to get a Corey base signed by him. Ultimately though, if this were my lot, I'd be happy. I've been a little nervous to release this video, to be honest. Firstly, because I don't want it to feel like I'm bragging. That makes me a little uncomfortable. Second, because I don't want to glorify breaks too much. I think it's important to stress this was not a normal experience of breaking. This was extremely lucky. But I also think, regardless, it's important to stick to your budget, make sure it's fun, and I personally think only go after the actual players or teams you like to collect. I think randoms can get really risky, and it's very easy to blast past your budget. Thirdly, because to be honest, I've seen people chasing this card still online, and I don't want any offers, so please don't send me any offers for this card, let me enjoy it. In the end though, I decided I would release this video because A, I wanted to try something a bit different with how I make videos. It's been a while since I've done anything, but B, I just like seeing other people's collections, so I hope someone else can get a little bit of joy seeing this story and these additions to my collection. If you're a fan of an EFL team, I hope you did well in this product. Let me know in the comments what you managed to get hold of. If you didn't, I hope you get yourself something you can treasure in a future set. I wanted to try a slightly different style of video for this one, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I kind of want to try doing stuff that's a little bit different. Before the set released, I'd actually already planned to make a Kabia custom card. Let me know if you want to see that. I've actually made a few customs already that I did record and I just haven't released videos of. And if you wanted to see my whole PC, then let me know. Every card I have in my football PC is a player who has played for Grimsby. Thanks for watching.